Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If you want to know what's inside someone's heart, all you got to do is listen to what comes out of their mouth. Donald Trump, your president, gave a little bit of a speech on yesterday where he fancied the royal family. Yeah, he accepted the royal family at the White House. And, he was out on the lawn speaking uh, niceties, about the royal family. And he got to a very disturbing part of his speech when he said his mama used to have a crush on a young King Charles. He said his mama had a crush on a young King Charles. Now, family, I don't want to jump to conclusions now, because it's a lot happening. So I don't want to jump to conclusions. So I'm going to show y'all this video of Trump talking, and you listen for yourself and you tell me what you think about his words. Does this sound a little inappropriate? His mother's behavior? Check it out.
So clearly, she loved, and I told the king this, she loved the royal family, and she loved the queen. And anytime the queen was involved in a ceremony or anything, my mother would be glued to the television, and she'd say, "Look, Donald, look how beautiful that is." She really did love the family, but I also remember her saying very clearly, "Charles, look, young Charles, he's so cute." My mother. My mother had a crush on Charles. Can you believe it? Amazing how, I wonder what she's thinking right now.
She ain't thinking that, no, because she did. Anyway, fam, look here, man. Fam, I don't know. Am I being too cynical here? Because this just sounded inappropriate to me. He said, my mother had a crush on a young King Charles. When he talking about young 20s, 30s, he said he'd be sitting there watching TV with his mom and she'd look how beautiful and all of this. So, yeah. Trump left home when he was 13, went to some military academy for boys, right? 1959. His mama was born in 1912. If he left home at 13, let's assume that they were watching television, and let's just go ahead and say he was 13. If he was 13, that meant Charles was 11 because Trump got 2 years on Charles. But his mama would have been about 47. Now okay, let's put the shoe on the other foot. Let's say it was his daddy watching the royal family. And his daddy had a crush on, the young queen, whoever that was, a young princess or whatever, right? Just a youngster, just somebody young. Would that add up to y'all? Well, would that be cool? See, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We got to start holding everybody accountable when they prey on kids or when they do inappropriate things with kids. We can't just give women a pass and think, oh, it's cute. You see how, did you hear the chatter in the background? Did you hear the peanut gallery just bust out laughing? How often have they burst out laughing when Trump says inappropriate things? How often have they laughed or just stood in silence or sat in silence? This is disturbing to me, fam. No, I'm not buying it, man. I'm not letting it slide. This is disturbing to me. That, perhaps this was somehow a precursor, to you know, what's going on with this Epstein stuff, you know? Because, you know, we know Trump are fond of kids. We know that. We know that for a fact. The prince, well, King Charles, did you see how he was looking? King Charles was looking rather like disturbed. It's like he didn't even know how to respond to that. He's like, I'm sure, yeah, I want to know what King Charles was thinking. You know, Trump mama dead, so she wasn't thinking at all. But I wonder what King Charles was thinking. He probably was like, oh, they told me not to come out here. Damn pedophiles. They told me not to come. Yeah, but I had to come because diplomacy. I had to come because of that, you know. But, you know, King Charles also took some shots at Trump. He talked about checks and balances during his part of the speech. Yeah, he talked about how executive power requires checks and balances. Because if you don't have checks and balances, a person can literally get away with murder. A person can send the whole country to hell in a handbasket, which is the direction that America is headed in right now. America is in such bad shape that there are some people in this country that can't even recognize it because they're so used to winning. You know, America's so used to being on top. But keep in mind, fam, we think it's a long time because, you know, we ain't been here the whole time. We think it's a long time. America's only 250 years old. America is the youngest of all of the power countries out there, all of the superpower countries out there. America is the youngest by far. The other countries are thousands of years old. So America's reign at the top has not been that long. That's what we forget. That reign has not been that long. So what usually topples dynasties? Arrogance, they get way too comfortable. Complacency, that arrogance, that complacency, that aggression, that dismissiveness that they have for their enemies or would-be enemies is always the downfall. You know, they say pride comes before the fall. Who amongst us don't think that the average American is extremely prideful? I'm talking about prideful of the fact that America got opportunity and we have a great military. Who ain't just, you know, and it's cool to have pride, but again, pride comes before the fall. So that pride has to be measured. That pride has to be kept in check. Think about your own personal lives. Anytime you've been too prideful, usually you get slapped with a nice dose of reality. That's what usually happens. So it's okay to be prideful. I think being proud is necessary. To have a certain amount of pride is necessary. It's one of the reasons why, you know, I get up and hump every day and get on it every day because, you know, I take pride in what I do. And I also take pride in the legacy that I am going to leave behind. So pride is a healthy thing, but it's got to be kept in check. Too many Americans are way off when it comes to pride. Donald Trump will say anything, man. You got to really watch what comes out of his mouth. Every Accusation is a confession. And every joke has some sinister truth to it. Think about what I said. Prince Charles is like, man, let me get on up out of here, bro. I done cracked a few jokes. You know, I done kissed enough ass for the day. Let me go ahead and get on up out of here. Not Prince Charles, but King Charles was disrespecting Trump and shooting slugs at him. He shot slugs at him several times, but he cloaked it in the jokes. He cloaked it with jokes. Trump didn't even catch it because he's slow. But the media caught it. And over the next few days, I'm sure they'll be talking about a whole lot about what King Charles had to say about the U.S. and its incompetent president. No more talk.